We're going to look at an exercise in this video in order to help the trail arm function a little bit better through backswing and downswing. The main movement of the trail arm we're going to focus on, or the main characteristic that players are often trying to solve, is in the backswing. You'll see the trail arm, the trail elbow work behind the player in takeaway and into backswing. So we'll see the trail arm work behind, let's see the seam of my shirt here in that first move. And in that backswing, when that happens, the player has to somehow in the downswing get that trail elbow back in front. That can cause some players to get the club path and the swing plane a little bit too far out to in. Other players, the trail arm never quite recovers, can get the club path too far to the right, and it also can create some strike issues down in the impact area. So when you're trying to solve this movement pattern in the backswing, oftentimes the main focus is on the trail arm and how the trail arm moves. But like a lot of things in the swing, this is often a symptom of something else that's happening in takeaway. This just happens to be probably the most obvious thing to place the focus on, but we're going to focus away from what seems to be the problem in this video. So when you're looking at your swing from down the line, if you're noticing that trail arm working behind your chest, working behind your body, oftentimes that's a symptom of lack of rotation and lack of connection through your rib cage, your torso and your lead shoulder, that movement away in the backswing. Oftentimes it's the hands traveling at a faster rate than our rib cage rotation. And when that happens, when you're looking from face on, you'll often see the club get taken away behind the player, and the trail elbow really has no other option from there than to go behind the player. So to get this trail arm functioning better and getting it working in unison with the turning of our torso, we're going to focus on more what the lead side is doing, and we're going to do that with a lead arm only drill. So for a right-handed golfer, you're working on your trail arm, which is your right hand. I want you to actually make some takeaway movements to about halfway back with your lead hand on the club only. Now you'll notice if you take the club away with your lead hand only, without any use of your torso or rotation of your rib cage, you'll find that the club gets quite heavy at this halfway back position, and it's quite difficult to get some leverage in the club and get it hinging up on plane. So if you feel like you get to there and you feel like the club is quite heavy, that's a great indication that we aren't using our rib cage and rotating our torso enough in backswing. That then can look like the trail arm moving too far behind the body. But actually the problem, the thing we need to focus on, is this move away with better connection through torso rotation and lead arm. So lead arm only swings, practice this. You can use a mirror, get to this halfway back position, and the club should feel pretty light at this halfway back position. If you engage your lead shoulder moving down and to the right and good turn through your rib cage, you're going to feel that club naturally hinges up a little bit more on plane, and it feels quite light, quite comfortable. Without the rotation of the torso, you're going to feel like a lot of pressure, a lot of strain on this lead arm. From down the line, that will look like this. So again, if I move my lead arm away without any rotation, club gets to here, feels quite heavy. If I get the club feeling light, halfway back, I have to engage more movement through my rib cage, through my torso, and now I feel a lot more light. I could hold that position a lot longer. That move is then going to allow, if I was to get my trail arm in now, is going to allow my trail arm to sit a lot more in front of my body going into the backswing, which is really going to help keep it a little bit more in front rather than trailing behind. So the next step of this drill is get to that halfway back position with more rotation, and then place your trail arm onto the grip, and you'll get a much stronger feel of how that trail arm now is going to work. So it's going to be reacting to better rotation of your rib cage and better connection of the rate the hands are traveling versus the rate our rib cage is rotating. So halfway back, then place your trail arm onto the club. And once you get a feel for that, you can then put the movement together. So we're going more lead arm, that would be then our takeaway. The move previously would have been to here. Now if I take my trail arm off the club, you'll notice how much that's just the lead arm crossing my chest without adding in any ribcage rotation. So once I add that piece in, then I place my trail arm on the club, and you'll start to get a much better sense of how that takeaway needs to feel in the backswing. That trail arm will start functioning better to the top, and then everything in the downswing will begin to improve. The trail arm will get more in front. That improves strike. It also is going to improve that path through the ball as well, so you won't have to make as many compensations. So to recap, if you're struggling with that movement of the trail arm, it's getting behind you in the takeaway, focus on working your lead hand only to halfway back so the club feels light. You'll need to encourage more turn through your rib cage. Then you can begin to add in your trail arm. You're going to improve the rate of rotation and the speed the hands are traveling back. You're going to get that more connected, and that trail arm is going to get fixed all by itself by improving how this lead side rotates and pushes back to that halfway back position. So give that exercise a go. Lead hand only, then add the trail arm. You'll begin to add more rotation, better sequencing to the backswing, and the trail arm mechanics will improve from improving that lead side connection and rotation into the backswing.